Hi moms and dads. My name is Martha Hartney and I am a mother and an estate planning attorney in Colorado. I'm here to talk to you about the legal landscape that you live on when you have children. Now, a few preliminary matters before I get started. One is, this webinar does not constitute the establishment of an attorney-client relationship. For that, you will need to contact your own attorney, meet with them, and engage in an attorney-client relationship. I am an attorney and a mother out of Colorado. For 6 years, I've been doing estate planning for families with children still at home. That is my passion, and it is my great honor and pleasure to do that work. I'm here to help you understand the legal landscape that you live on as a parent in America today. That's what we'll take probably the next 10 to 12 minutes discussing, so that you have an understanding of what happens to children in an emergency situation and what happens in the long term if you're unable to care for them. So let's get started. We've served hundreds and hundreds of families, and when I meet with parents, the very first concern every single one of them has had is, what happens to my kids if something happens to me? And I just want to make sure that my kids are okay. And I'm going on a trip and I'm nervous about not coming back. What happens? So let's break it down. If you leave your kids in the care of someone else and you don't return, the fundamental principle that is in operation first and foremost is called the parens patriae power of the state. Parens patriae means parent of the nation. It's not embedded in any statute. It's just a principle that exists in American law and is a holdover from probably English common law. Parens patriae, meaning parent of the nation, is the power under which the state will take custody of our children and make sure that they are protected and cared for if the parents are unable to do so. So you've heard of the term ward of the state. Well, that's what that means. Because right after you, in line of authority of your children, is the state. So who is the state? Who shows up as the state in that scenario? The state, as a matter of law, family law is a state matter. It's at the level of each individual state, is where children's law and family law exists. Each state has agencies that are empowered and enabled to step in when children are not cared for. So we see this mostly in abuse, neglect, or addiction cases. However, there are occasionally scenarios where otherwise fit and functioning families need the care and help of the system. And that's when something happens to parents, because right after a parent is the state. Now, in an emergency situation, it will generally show up as police or sheriff in the area, who will send a squad car out to the last registered address for a family, or will search for children. Or if your sitter or your school starts to panic and realize that you're not coming back, they'll make a call to a police station, or to possibly even 911. So a knock is going to be had at the door. Someone is going to be at the door wearing a police uniform and a badge, asking to check in on the children and find out if they're safe and secure. The next question is, from a police officer to the people who are caring for your child or children, do you have authority to keep these kids? And the answer is probably going to come back, I don't know. Do I have authority to keep these kids? Why don't you tell me? Well, a police officer does not have authority to leave children in the care of just anyone. In fact, they're required to take children into protective custody and possibly take a ride down to the police station until a family member can be found. And that's what they're supposed to do, is contact family. Well, what if there's no family nearby and there aren't any readily available and identifiable caretakers? Well, a child might end up in foster care, even for a few days. Now, I have heard of cases where children end up in foster care for months, waiting for a determination of who their guardian is going to be. We don't want that. In fact, a parent in America has a superior right to the parents' patriae power under the United States Constitution. And that was from a case known as Troxel v. Granville, a 2000 Supreme Court case that described what a parent's rights are. Now, parents have the fundamental right to the care, custody, and control of their children, which includes delegating their parental responsibilities on a temporary basis, as well as making sure to nominate their successor, their guardian, who will take long-term care of their children until their children are of age. So parents have a superior right to ensure that their children are cared for by the people that they select, we select, as long as we do so in writing. So the system that we've designed, called CHERP, Children's Emergency Response Plan, is created to make sure that there are no gaps in the care around our children, so that the state does not have to act, because we have taken care of our business for ourselves, taken care of our families. We do that through several legal documents, as well as a system to make sure that our short-term responders, our parental delegates, know what to do in an emergency situation, know how to answer the question of a police officer if they have the authority to keep legal custody or take legal custody of our children. And the answer was yes, because they can show it. And that we make sure to appoint our successors, our long-term guardians, so that a court can make sure that the person that we have picked to raise our children have legal authority to do that. Now, we take it farther. We make sure that first responders can identify that you have temporary parental delegates in place. We make sure that it's apparent through a series of notifications and stickers and instruction cards that first responders can identify and locate the people that you've empowered to take care of your children if you can't come home. We also want to make sure that your long-term guardians know what their job is and how you want your children raised. So we help you to describe the values, the beliefs, the practices, the traditions, and the advice that you want to give to your children if you're not going to be here to raise them. So a CHERP is specially designed to help you achieve all of those goals and make sure there's no gaps in the care of your children, and that the state does not have to act if something happens to you. So a little personal note on taking care of our business as a parent. Child Protective Services is already overburdened and underfunded. There are not enough caseworkers for the families that need them. It's much better for us to take care of our business so that the system doesn't have to act for us and continue to clog up the system for families who are not subject to addiction, abuse, neglect. And there are so many families in America right now that are in chaos that need those systems. We should free them up by doing what we're supposed to do and taking care of our business. So we invite you to explore our website some more. We have a survey if you'd like to take it below. If you scroll down, there's a survey that will help you understand how urgent your children's need is for a CHERP. There are 6 or so questions that will help you figure out if your need is red hot, very urgent, get one in place right now, pretty hot, warm, or lukewarm and not really needed at all. So please take our survey. We'd love to hear from you about your opinion on how these plans can work even better. If you have any ideas, we're happy to take them. You can email support@mychirp.net. I look forward to helping you serve your families more deeply, to relieve you of the worry of what happens to your kids if something happens to you, to make sure that you know what that is. Thank you.